children, don't do this at home today. We had a kid get very sick. We lost a kid. Sorry. Sorry, I was watching Roseanne this morning with Bill Maher. Her wackiness rubbing off of me. I'm kind of embarrassed to say I can't really watch Bill Maher anymore because I had a sex dream about him. Yeah. Now, I don't know what happened in this sex dream with Bill Maher. Yes, the man.
Yes.
Bill Maher from Real Time. I don't know what was going on, but we were hanging out. It started out being a pretty good dream. It was one of those dreams where you meet a celebrity, you think you're in, you know, things are going
really close to them.
You feel really close to them. You can't wait to tell your parents that now you're, you know, Bill Maher. I hang out with him now. You know? And then it got pretty twisted. He started. I don't know who started what, but it started turning into a sex dream. Now, we didn't have sex.
Smash the like button, everybody.
First, there's a story from my personal life that I'm sure you're going to love. So I was looking through the Bring Back group this week, our group on Facebook. I love Facebook. I just can't get enough of it. I go through my personal feed on Facebook, and it's really exciting. To me, that's quite a platform. I saw this post in the Bring Back group. Where could I find this? This is here. Do we have the post here? Is this it? This Facebook? I'll read you this post. This is funny. It's from a guy named Jack Bauer. Hi, Jack. He says, it's funny. I like this post. Wait till you hear this post. He goes, it's funny how often Mike talks about going to the mall. Does anyone else notice this? Well, thank you, Jack. I find that to be really funny, too. When you think about that, why am I always saying, I was at the mall the other day, as if that's a normal thing for a 52-year-old guy and his 26-year-old wife to be doing. Why am I at the mall so much? That's a good question. Well, I guess I'm not there that much, but I am there more than most people are going to the mall. And it's actually worse than you think. This mall doesn't have any stores that we like. The highest end store at this mall is a store called Dillard's. Yes. You guys know Dillard's?
That's a while.
Dillard's is the highest end store in this mall.
Oh,
it's
matter.
got an H&M. It's got a PacSun. Very bad one. These are bad versions of the stores you know and love. So we don't shop at any of these stores.
Mall when there's only one Sunglasses Hut location.
Well, this has two. It has a downstairs and an
yeah, that's what I saw.
Is a duplicate of the first gay guy to act like how all gay guys act now. You're nothing compared to the history of troops. You know what I mean? And you all
okay. Here we go.
Guy. So are you guys all sharing one mind? Is this a hive mind thing? And I saw another gay guy, and he's just doing the same sense of humor, the same mannerisms. They have the same, you know, thing they do. The whole gay shtick that they all do. They all do the same thing. It's like, okay, are you guys all sharing one mind? Is this a hive mind thing? And you're all just a variant of one guy? So it's, to me, a troop is like that too. They want to, you know, they really take it seriously. It's like, oh, where'd you see this? A fucking movie with a troop? Like, oh, yes, of course. Oh, of course. Oh, yes, you're such an important troop.
You're such an important troop.
You're nothing compared to the history of troops. You know what I mean? And you all act the same. Like you saw a movie about troops, you're imitating. Jocko is the biggest defender of this. I spit on his American flag. I spit on his medals. I put a
Oh, that is
flower
car
in his
crash,
fucking
not an
barrel.
explosion, huh?
And what
Zach?
makes Jocko, of course,
I've
bad,
been
it's not
looking
that he's a
at that clip
Marine. Okay,
forever.
of course, your brother's a
Looking up
Marine.
explosions.
No, and actually not. I am in a safe space here.
Car crash.
Nobody who's ever been involved with the troops or any of that listens to Red Bar. Neither does their family. They don't. So, and what does that mean? Did I drive them away, or is this not their cup of tea? And why isn't it their cup of tea? Could it be fate? Could it be because I know too much? Troops don't get offended because they're not listening to this. The troops are out there doing some dumbass shit. God knows what they're doing. And, you know, they're getting naked in front of these drill sergeants. They're getting fucking naked. They're getting strip searched. They're following orders. That's not to be respected. That's to be, wouldn't you be so scared if you had to be in the military? They're doing this on purpose. They want to be there. They want to be in what would be a hell jail to you. Should you trust them? So Jocko, he gets out of the military and he goes, I'm going to use my military character that I've imitated to sell protein shakes and come up with my own line of supplements because I saw Joe Rogan do it. So now I'm going to do every supplement he does using his audience because they think I'm the man now. And he is a con artist, Jocko. And wait till you see what he is now. I didn't know he had a daughter. It's like when Joey Diaz has a daughter, I go, what?
Doesn't add up.
Doesn't add up. Jocko has a daughter. And this is a sick video. I don't know what to make of this. This is perverse. This falls under the perversion category of film. Wait till you see this. Here's Jocko with his new daughter.
Today, and this is my daughter. I want you to say thank you to me. Say thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. This is my daughter. She's all over him. They're both covered in sweat. She's all over him. And does this have anything to do with, is anybody in this video retarded? I'm not even joking. Does she have like a...
I don't know.
She
This is my first time seeing her as well.
Okay.
So
I don't know, because
it's up in the
Jocko,
air.
when you pause, they both looks retarded, okay? So you don't know. It could just be, you know, they just got done doing jujitsu together. Let's hear about that.
Saying thank you because today I smashed her. Smashed her. I weigh 100 pounds more than her. I've been training for a lot longer. I got across the side and I put the press. And she's saying thank you. Say thank you.
Today I smashed her. Now listen, I'm not one of these guys. Oh, you smashed. You know what that means?
Fresh.
I am.
That's not what I'm doing.
It's weird.
I'm going beyond that.
Oh,
You're MMA with a family member. This is official. This is an opinion. Everybody listen up. MMA with a family member is incest. Yep. If you do MMA with a family member, it's the same as abuse.
abuse. Oh boy, guess who just went live, you guys? Good old JD Farms himself.
Garland?
We don't call him that anymore,
Oh.
remember?
Oh,
We don't want to.
yeah. Sure. Sorry.
Let me pull this up real quick. Oh, what the hell?
Oh, is he off now?
No, he got scared. Ah, I shouldn't have went in the chat. Oh, I shouldn't have went in the chat.
Or did he block you? Or what happened?
I just said I'll be back in a couple minutes. No way. Okay, Braxton, you gotta fix your shit and pull this up. He didn't want me up there.
So he blocked you?
He knows.
Oh my goodness. Womp womp womp. Come on. Old man farmer.
Video removed by uploader. He keeps taking the videos down. He's going live. All right, hold on a sec. Pull it up, Jamie.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hello,
here we go.
Braxton.
No. There we go.
He's trying
Here
to
we go.
say that he's getting sabotaged and the vegans are taking the stream down. BS.
Third try. Oh, I think because maybe people are posting.
You're walking on.
Yeah.
Why don't you email me real quick,
All right, here we go.
and I'll know it's you.
Garman Farms. All right, we're going back.
Yeah, like really quick about the topic of like how they show that supposedly eating meat is unhealthy. They do that with basic correlations, right? So a lot of people who eat a lot of meat, they're more likely to.
So is that the Garland Farm stream? I kind of cut out for a minute there.
Oh, I should switch my light. Shit.
Oh, we got John Bob.
Hi guys,
What's up, John Bob?
how you doing?
Yo, yo.
I made myself a salad, guys. The size of this thing.
Give an example
Hmm?
of something. So there's like correlation is or causation. Let's say I'm eating a certain food that I decide is unhealthy, right? And I think this food is unhealthy. I'm gonna stop eating it, and to improve my health, I'm gonna start
Holy shit,
exercising more.
Sorry, guys.
Right? And let's say I do both, and I go around telling people, it doesn't matter what food it is. I go, oh yeah, I've stopped eating XX food. My health is better. So when people suddenly decide to become health conscious, they change their lifestyle and they drop certain foods, but they don't know for sure it's necessarily not eating that food anymore that's improved their health. It could be other things. It could be the exercise.
Right.
Can
So
you guys hear that?
that's why anecdotal evidence is very suspect.
Can you guys hear that?
Well, and that argument right there actually fails for a certain
decent, yeah.
segment of the populace. Because there are people like me, I am educated. I have a BSN and I have a secondary degree, and I'm always taking classes of some kind when I have time. But the fact of the matter is that for years I ate the recommended dietary guidelines according to the American Heart Association and the American Diabetes Association. And in patient education, I use those same guidelines with patients. And of course, for years, I would have patients who came back multiple times to the hospital with, secondary heart attacks, problems with diabetes, problems losing limbs from diabetes. And they were following the guidelines. And back then, in the 90s and the first decade of the 2000s, we were told by doctors and administrators that those people who were telling us that they were following the guidelines were lying to us. They had to be lying, because if they were following the guidelines, then they wouldn't be sick, accepting the fact that I was sick and I knew I was following the guidelines. And it took me decades to figure out that the reason that I was dependent on, prednisone and solumetrol and epinephrine was specifically because I was on a plant-based diet and I have an intolerance to both salicylic acid, but also oxalic acid. And it's like I ballooned up at my heaviest weight when I was at my sickest. And of course, I was maxed out on prednisone and solumetrol, which are both steroids. I maxed out at 418 pounds. But I stopped eating fruits and vegetables and went on a fast and did nothing but meat and dairy and ended up losing half my body weight in less than a year. So how much of that was actually fat and how much of it was inflammation is anybody's guess. But the fact of the matter is that I love plants and I love to garden, but I can't eat them because they will kill me. And how many people are out there who are actually having those problems with obesity who are told, oh, it's your diet? Well, it may be their diet, but we have no idea what they're actually eating. And if they change their diet and they start eating meat in direct opposition to the federal guidelines and all of these different medical societies, then they're told by the doctors they're doing it wrong.
Hey, Jeffrey.
How you doing, JD? How you been, old man?
I'm good. I'm hanging in there.
Great.
Uncle Ratatouille.
You gave us a scare again.
Yeah, I
You
know you
always
guys.
disappear, and it makes us all worried.
I know
Yes.
you worry about me a lot.
What's on your ears, sweetie?
Of
I'm
course,
glad.
I
I'm
care
glad
about
that you
you,
think.
darling.
I'm glad
You're a
that you
great
think
old
of me.
man.
I am a great old man.
Want to say hi to everybody, Rappy? If you
Yeah.
sit up, they
So what's going on
One
today,
of the
JD?
benefits of a omnivore diet that's based on meat is that you get to become an old man someday.
We're
Isn't
like the
that
I'd
same
be
age,
more
the
buddy.
worried
goal?
about genital shrinkage.
How old are you?
Why would you consume something that shrinks your genitals, dude? It's weird.
Yeah, I don't think that we're the same age, but
How old are you? Just out of curiosity.
What's that? 45.
How old are you? Okay.
What are you guys talking about today?
All right. We're talking about why vegans have jumped on this stream with illegal porn, ambush us, and try and get us in trouble.
did you see
They've
that,
done it
Jeffrey?
twice.
No, I
Did you
didn't
see that,
see that.
Jeffrey?
Those are dastardly old tricks.
Yeah.
Dastardly.
Would you get onto a vegan for doing that, or would that be something that you would
That's
give the
I would
nod
consider
to?
that bad form. I would rather one-on-one debate someone than try and just tear their stream down.
Someone said it's a crime to post porn on YouTube. Is it?
Yeah,
Yes, in the UK
no,
it
it's
is.
not a crime. It's a
It
policy.
is in the UK. No, it's a crime in the UK. If you publish dick pics on a public stream and broadcast to ambush people, it's considered revenge porn, and it's a crime. You can go to jail for it.
What's it? Is that erect or flaccid?
Well,
I know there's a
someone if someone ambushes us with a movie of someone jerking off, they're not flaccid, are they?
So it has to be hard. So if it's a flaccid penis, it's not a crime.
Then it's probably a vegan. If it's flaccid, it's probably a vegan.
Okay.
What are you talking about? Saturated fat and cholesterol
I just
clog
caught on
arteries.
to that.
That comes from eating corpses, guys.
So
Okay, you're mad that the porn thing happened. What else you guys talking about?
I'm not mad. I'm just a little bit
disappointed.
What would you? I mean, what's the emotion?
Why are
that
you
would go
hiding,
along with
JD? Why are
someone
all the
sabotaging?
artists hiding today?
Well, I'm hiding because I'm sitting in the middle of a field in the dark.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, and it's kind of funny because I had just finished cleaning up the barn and went to go inside, and my phone tinkled, and I looked at it, and it says Garland Farms is streaming, and I went, "Oh, I'm awake." So I'm literally sitting here in my truck. So it's dark.
Wow.
It's like 9:17 in Ohio right now. So there's no point in showing my face because you won't see anything anyway.
Yeah, we actually wanted to have a productive stream about various topics. We actually also wanted to analyze the last debate that we had with another vegan called what was his name? Nick the Anti-Carnist. We had like a debate / discussion with him, and we sort of wanted to analyze that a little bit. Whether or not consuming animals is unethical.
That's a big premise to go over in one debate. Me and Garland spent
it was like
six debates basically going over one aspect of it. It's better to whittle things down to smaller things that are actually tackleable in a smaller amount of time so you can actually get somewhere.
Can I counter that with the fact that when you do that, you remove all the nuance from the conversation?
Debating removes nuance?
Well, yeah, if you cut it, if you
Why do you sound so
compartmentalize
funny, JD?
What?
Why are you hiding and why do you sound so funny?
Well,
Maybe it's just the mic,
I'm not
never mind.
hiding.
Go ahead, continue.
Okay.
So Why does it matter if we hide or not? If I thought you was up for debate, so it should be about ideas, not how pretty our faces are.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Okay,
What's a specific idea you want to talk about with a vegan?
Okay. Do we need to eat meat? Yes or no, to thrive and be healthy? Because that's what it boils down to, right?
No, I said something
At the end of the
specific.
day.
That's super big, broad. Like that's not something we could get through. That's a huge, like, morally, like just arguing, just debating the moral side of that would probably take at least 4 to 6 hours. So I'm talking about like a small thing that's very like specific, like like me and JD, we went over crop deaths. And that took us a very long time. So that's just one aspect.
We didn't go over all of the data.
We didn't go over the biofuel
And that was
food thing.
That
right?
was before anti-war mindset, who's in the room, came to the table and pretty much doubled the amount of research that we have, proving that a vegan world would result in gargantuan increases in toxic factory monocropping.
Right.
And the crop deaths associated with.
Garland, we've already been through this. Are you going to sit here and lie to me and say that we didn't go through this and you conceded that animal agriculture does more harm to the environment?
No, sir, I never did concede that.
Yeah, you did. You got it.
Wait a second. So I raise livestock, and
I definitely don't care about your opinion if you raise livestock.
Well, no, I'm sorry.
Did you not watch the debate between me and Garland Farms? There was 4 of them.
Probably did.
And it ended with Garland Farms admitting to me and Chris Hines live on the air. You can watch it on my YouTube right here. Right here, you can see JD Garland admit that animal agriculture causes more harm to the environment. He did it.
Well, the whole reason that I raise animals is because I'm remediating land.
Yeah, but the thing is that raising animals caused that land to get screwed up. So you should have been doing that to begin with. You should have been farming consciously. You should have been farming in a way that didn't hurt the environment so hard that you have to continue this nonsense regenerative gardening thing that you guys do, instead of leaving the earth alone and letting it rebuild on its own.
Let me interject something. Let me interject something.
To begin with, so it makes no sense that you have.
Hang on just a second.
So okay, can I interject? I want to interject something. So
yes, please interject.
You're saying agriculture is screwing up the land. You're basically saying human civilization is screwing up the land. But from what I can see, you're still part of human civilization. You're using the internet. You seem to have a house of some sort. Your girlfriend's smoking, or your wife or your sister's smoking.
Smoking weed, bro.
Right? Okay, so you're still part of civilization, right? So you're not leaving it anytime soon. So you're causing.
You want to see where we live right
on
now?
The environment.
Hey, bro, do you want to see where we live right now?
Not particularly. No.
We're literally
I'm not really
out
interested
in the
in
middle
personally.
of the desert.
Hold on a sec.
Like,
Anti-war mindset was trying to make a point a while ago. Give him a chance. Give him a chance to say something real quick.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to these environmental questions, like, this is an extremely broad topic. So you have to actually be more precise when you say, okay, animal agriculture screws the environment. Like, what exactly do you mean?
If you're
like
recuperating the farmland, what happened to it to begin with?
It's not farmland. First of
my
all,
God.
you need to
Semantics,
stop
lady.
and listen.
Okay,
No,
I'll mute up. I'll give you 5 minutes.
there's a troll in the chat. There's a troll in the chat.
That I am on. I now own over 1,000 acres of land that has been used for the last century for coal mining, gravel pit mining, frack mining, and the petroleum industry. And I live on the Utica Shale. This land has been destroyed by over a century of coal mining and subsequent frack mining. There is no farming here. there can't be any farming here because there's no soil here. That's the whole point of remediation.
Well, your
is returning
situation
the
is
land
very
to its natural
specific,
state.
and it's not what we're talking about here. Not
It is what
everyone
we're
in the
talking
USA
about.
lives on a coal mine. So your
No.
special situation is irrelevant to this
It is not
conversation.
a
This is not
special
special.
It is special
No,
if
it's
she's
This is not
saying that she
special.
has to remediate some land that's on some
No,
coal mine. Not everyone lives on a
You're
coal
telling
mine.
me, no. You're telling me that livestock destroyed land. I'm telling you that I'm actually building the land. And you're sitting there saying agriculture destroys the land.
So your
Animal
cows are sitting on
agriculture
top of
destroys it.
coal tailings, and you think that you're
No, they're not
regenerating
sitting on
coal
top of
tailings by
coal
putting your
Shit.
cows on it.
No, that's not
No,
what she said.
I didn't say that at all.
Wait, why are you putting words in her mouth that she didn't say?
I
If you
never
can't
said
win
that.
the argument by what she said, you'll put new words in her mouth. Is that the game?
Garland, we're here to have a discussion.
But you're not
Then-
discussing anything. What you're
Yeah,
doing is you're
I'm just,
slandering.
just pointing out,
getting everything out.
Jeffrey,
I
I'm just
wanted
pointing
to-
out the fact that you're building a straw man and watching you pile drive a straw man is kind of getting old.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Can I ask you a question, Mr. Vegan Sir, Jeffrey Phillips? Right. So there's certain animals that eat stuff that humans can't consume, and there's like people in the third world who have chickens and pigs, and they need those chickens especially to survive and get protein from eggs, and need to eat the chickens. So what should they do then?
Is that what we're talking about here? People that have
Yeah, I'm just asking you a
chickens,
question.
that's it?
Yes.
That's
Yes,
it.
in the
We're
third
just talking
world.
about people that have chickens.
Yeah, people. Yeah, let's just focus on chickens. But you wanted to break it down. Let's just focus on chickens. People in the third world
Okay.
have chickens. You raise chickens.
Not, I mean, that's not like what's someone having a bunch of chickens in their backyard that are free ranging and leaving some eggs. That I don't really have as much a problem with as I do factory farming, which is where every cow, even cows on little farms, ends up in a factory to get chopped
That's
up into
untrue.
pieces.
That's false. That's
Yeah, in
false.
case you
Okay.
eat it.
So
Yeah,
no. So
but the overwhelming
false.
majority, lady, come on, your little specific 1%.
okay. So sorry.
thing is not what we're
I
talking
want to.
about
No,
here.
sorry. Okay, let me clarify
Hold
something
on,
then.
I have
So-
a question for Mickey.
No.
Do you know how? Do you
no,
know
stop.
how?
I was leading
you know
this up.
what
No.
animals
No.
Garland farms? Do you know
I
how
that
big his
Um,
farm
last
is?
year I know that last year he had chickens and goats.
Yeah.
I have cattle. Goats,
Is it like
pigs.
stolen valor if someone claims that they farm more than they do? Do you get like offended if someone claims they like are, a big cattle farmer if they aren't?
It's easy to
Is it-
find out if they are or they aren't.
Yeah. Well, maybe in your world it is, but in my world it's not.
Oh no, it's actually very
Okay.
easy.
Yeah, Garland Farms let thousands of people think that he was a cattle farmer for years until I called him out on it, because a buddy of his slipped up and mentioned that he only had a few goats in his yard. When he was letting people for a year, he didn't correct people when they thought he was a huge cattle farmer. So is that like a stolen valor thing, like a military guy seeing a fake military guy?
How
and you
many
get, like,
how many
offended?
acres?
So do you know the USDA definition of a farm? Do you know what the USDA definition of a farm
Tell me.
is? It is any outfit on the land that produces $1,000 or more income a year. That's the actual definition of a farm in the United States.
Uh-huh.
So I don't give a flying rat's ass what anybody does on their land, because if he's making money off
I don't think
of
he's making money
his
though. I think he just has a
produce-
couple goats.
Huh?
Because he's only said he's
No,
regenerating his yard
I've
with the
actually
goats. He
seen-
hasn't said he's ever sold
no.
them or anything like
He's
that.
actually filmed his
Why are you
herds
banning
and
so
his
many
flocks.
people in the
Well, I've
chat,
seen them.
Garland? Why don't you let people talk?
Because it's a troll. It's a troll.
You're a
Okay.
troll, dude.
So-
this is
so
all
my question-
trolling. What do
my
you mean?
question for
Okay.
you-
Philip. No, please.
My
Oh,
question
Jeffrey.
for you-
Okay, yes,
Hang
anti
on
war
just
a
minds
second.
or Mr. Pink. Yeah, what's up?
Okay, so you're fond of people having free-range chickens. So what principle are you
No,
a
I'm not
vegan? What
fond of
principle?
it. It's just far lower on the scale of what pisses me off.
Okay. If there's a situation where people have to eat meat to survive, are you for it or against it?
Absolutely for it.
Okay.
So I'm one of
Right,
those
I'm just-
people.
that defend farming animals. and eating
So let me just go
Yeah,
back to the
are you saying
environmental
that
question
defends
real quick.
farming animals? That I'm okay
actually-
with
Yes.
people
I
eating
actually
with it
left
in
it-
life or death situation? We're not living in a life or
I
death
left it.
situation.
I left a career in nursing because I was sick eating a plant-based diet
Oh,
that was
please.
literally killing me. Oh, no, please. I was ending
Prove
up in
it.
the hospital.
Some way, prove it in one way.
I spent 15 years maxed out on 60 milligrams of prednisone every single day. A shot of
Well, you had body
Soludendrol
problems. You
every
had all kinds of
Saturday.
problems. You can't just
I'm
throw.
sorry?
You had problems already.
Yeah, you know what caused the
So
problem?
again, your little 1
Insulin
percentile
intolerance.
problem has nothing to do with what me and
No.
Garland are talking about.
No,
Your
it
little
has
anecdotes
exactly-
aren't like concrete evidence
Excuse
for a
me.
meat-based diet.
The whole
Everything we know about
reason-
science says
Okay.
that more meat is more death. Like you die more.
No, it's
No,
not.
no,
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 yeah, you guys.
no,
Yes,
That's
you guys.
absolutely false.
Right.
Let's discuss the
Right.
science, right?
Give me a
Let me.
You guys are all Joe Rogan wannabe, like fucking. You guys just follow these.
Listen.
I don't like Joe Rogan. I
Yeah,
don't.
me
I don't
neither,
like Joe
me
Rogan.
neither.
You're assuming a lot.
Sure you
You're
do.
assuming a lot about
Yeah.
us.
You're
He's
parroting
controlled
his
Listen,
propaganda,
Jeffrey,
though. You're
Jeffrey.
parroting his
No, I'm
propaganda.
not.
He's controlled
what-
opposition.
He's the
what
first
propaganda?
guy who was big who started saying, "Oh, all the studies about meat are wrong." Blah 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 blah. And you're all parroting that stuff. You're like
Well,
flat earthers
I
up
don't
here with
have
your
to parrot.
anti-science.
No.
And then
Okay,
you're
no.
a nurse.
So let me
You're a nurse and you're telling people should eat more
no.
meat and dairy. You're insane. That's absolutely insane.
Okay. Look,
You're a
look.
nurse and you're
The
going to
correlation is not causation.
dairy.
Correlation is not
Absolutely gonna tell
causation.
you that. I'm absolutely going to tell you
Right.
that because that is my lived experience.
Because I heard you talking earlier, and you seem to think
Yeah.
that everybody was going on the food pyramid. Do you think that a
No,
large
I
amount
never
of the
said
U.S.
that.
were on the
I
food
never said
pyramid, and
that.
that's what made them all
I
fat?
never mentioned the food. No, I never mentioned the food pyramid.
Y-
And
I
you're
didn't
lying.
Say, you didn't say pyramid specifically, but you said the
I
sta-
did.
the,
I
the
said-
ADA's
I
diet
Hey,
is the
hey,
food
No,
pyramid.
Listen.
No. That's
Listen.
not what I said. I
Garland,
said the
Garland,
American
can I
Heart
say
Association,
something?
the
Okay,
American
hold on.
Diabetic Association,
Garland,
their
Okay.
dietary guidelines.
Yeah, they tell
I
Garland.
never
people to
said
eat meat.
anything about
A
the food pyramid.
Garland.
shitty standard American diet, basically. They tell people to eat.
No.
Garland.
American Heart
Okay,
Association
everyone-
gives terrible
Let's
health
pause for-
advice. I'm
Pause for a
sorry.
moment.
lady.
Pause for a moment.
Garland.
Pause for a moment.
You're taking advice from the people that own the hospitals. They don't want you to be
Garland.
healthy.
Jeffrey.
No
That's fat
shit,
shit.
Jeffrey-
you don't say.
That's
Jeffrey,
absolutely
hold on.
fat shit.
Jeffrey, hold on.
Garland.
Okay.
Listen,
so
listen.
mindset.
Listen, this
What,
is
Garland?
a
You just said
train wreck.
Jeffrey 8 times. What?
Hey,
I'm asking you to hush for a moment.
Okay.
yeah.
Please.
I'll mute myself.
So, yeah, exactly. So either we discuss the environment or we discuss the health because we're just jumping from topic to topic.
Over
Like
there,
it's
Braxton.
not structured. You need to have
I
a
honestly
structure.
don't think he's capable of sticking with anything. Because number one, he's
Also-
high, and number two,
Because-
he has an agenda.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes,
listen.
but also, we got to stop using personal antidotes because I actually reject vegan personal antidotes, and it's just he says, she says, and it's pointless, right? So let's leave out personal health antidotes from this
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can talk about health. So he made claims about health. All the science says eating meat is unhealthy or whatever claim he just made. Let me just destroy him on that, okay?
Thank you.
Just let us just give some data point, right?
Let's do it.
So let us talk about the Adventist Health Study too, right? And this is a study that actually vegans love to cite, right? They love this study so much. Oh, it shows that eating meat is unhealthy and all this stuff. Actually, when you look at the raw, unadjusted data, it shows the exact opposite. The highest mortality rate from all causes are actually the vegans in that study. When you look at the raw, unadjusted data, when you do actually the mortality rate calculations, which everybody can do.
Do you have links to that?
Yeah, I can show that real quick.
Yeah, bring
Wait
it
a
up,
second.
actually. You can present it. If you're gonna
Yeah, I
definitely
can
if you're gonna
present
be
it.
quoting studies, you need to pull it up so we can all see it.
We'll put it on.
And
We'll put it
what do
on
you
the
mean, like,
screen,
just
and
like
we'll
look
put a
at the
link.
raw unadjusted data? Like the data is
Yeah.
adjusted for a reason.
It depends
It
on the
is.
data.
Listen. Let me talk
There's no
about
data.
the
For one, there's no
adjustment.
data that you're talking about. You're saying vegans are in this study. Let's see it.
Can
Hold up.
can you see that shit?
It's there now.
Okay, I hope it's on screen right now. So yeah, I talk about this.
No.
And
Can you
got,
name the study so I can actually pull it up and actually look at it, not just some clip that could have easily been changed or something like that?
changed? Like what are you talking about, man?
Just give them a.
Give me
Just
the
give them
link
a
to the
link.
freaking
The link
study,
is
dude.
the link is at the top of the screen.
Like, do you know how to debate? You're supposed to like present. You're supposed to.
This is a very, very loose debate. It's a discussion. We're trying to be civil
these-
without using a bunch of debate tricks to.
What do you mean debate?
We want to
trick?
make
That's
the
how you
animals.
actually
I
come to a
think
conclusion instead of just
The
throwing
animals
out
don't benefit
anecdotes
from
and
debate
shit.
tricks.
Listen, I think the study title is "The Association Between Red Meat and Processed Meat Intake and All-Cause Cardiovascular and Cancer Mortality in the
Okay, where's the
Adventist
vegan part of
Health."
that?
It is
You said there
the
were
zero.
vegans. There would say in that they would see also with vegans.
It says zero intake. They mean zero intake of unprocessed meat, right? So they have like five groups, right? So they have the zero intake of meat, then they have the first quartile, the second and third and fourth quartile. So basically increasing the meat consumption in these quartiles, right? And here's the number of deaths, right? So they follow these people and they track the number of deaths, right? When you actually do the calculation with the raw unadjusted data, the highest all-cause mortality rate is in the vegan group or in the vegetarian, no meat, zero meat group.
Let
And
them
as
get
you
some
go,
fear and just put them in bed.
and as you go up in the quartiles here, increasing the meat consumption, it actually is lower and lower and lower the mortality rate. Okay, so this would be the raw unadjusted data. What actually happened in reality? What the so-called scientists did is they fudged the numbers by reporting the exact opposite.
All
Okay,
right.
which
Hold on,
and
hold
let
on,
me
hold on.
tell you the
You got
problem.
for a while. So
No, I haven't gotten from it while I'm not finished yet, because you want to make the point about adjustment, right? You can actually easily distort data like that, because again, what actually happened in reality is that we saw the lowest mortality rates among the highest meat eating group, and yet these authors report the exact opposite, which is fraud. Okay, because when you do multivariate regression, which is what they do in these models, there's omitted variable bias. Okay, you cannot adjust for all the variables. Okay, there's also this thing called multicollinearity, which basically means that the independent variables are intercorrelated. So you cannot iron out which has what kind of impact on the outcome, because they're all intercorrelated. Like, for example, the variable male gender with red meat intake, which is positively correlated, but male gender is also correlated with mortality, higher mortality on its own. So we cannot iron out which has like what kind of impact, which is the problem with the multivariate regression in this particular study, right? So it's better to look at the absolute the raw unadjusted outcome data, which shows that the vegans are actually having the highest mortality rates as opposed to the meat eaters. So there you go. This is just one data point. What do you say to that?
okay.
Huh?
For one, let's meet next week, and I'll take a look at this study since I'm not familiar with it, and we can talk about it next week, and we could compare our findings then. But if this is a study where the scientists can flub the numbers, then it's a simple It's a very low quality study, because the studies that I'm talking about, that I'm coming here with, are meta studies. They're studies on studies, where, like, if any bad flubbed data happens, there's a pattern. When you study 2,000 studies, there's a pattern in the truth that comes out. And when you have a study,
Not
where one
necessarily.
study, no, stop. I was be quiet for you, so please. So if you have a study where you're saying these scientists messed up the data and got to these numbers, then this is a very low quality study. And that's not what I'm here with. I'm here with 200 years of science, studies upon studies upon studies, where they know the truth, and they can see when some sort of outside influence, money, some kind of, some sort of outside influence is messing with the numbers, and they'll take that study out of the equation. So you're talking about one low quality study. But I will be here next week to give my opinion about that study after I've seen it. You kind of pointing at a page and giving your opinion of what the study says is really, this is like
You can calculate this
science,
yourself, right?
bro.
Okay,
You can calculate
ask you
the raw
something, Jeffrey?
unadjusted data
I'll meet you here
mortality rates yourself.
next week. We'll talk about it next week. You can't just bombard me with a study and expect me to understand or even say anything to it. You got a bunch of people in the chat, Garland, in the comment, in the secret chat, waiting for you. But yeah, this isn't, you can't just, you're not doing science here, bro, if that's what you think you're doing. Like,
you're not doing science either. You made bold assertions about proof about the health of meat. You're not doing science. Yeah.
I'll come back and we'll see what caliber of study this is, what kind of study this is, and see how
It's the Adventist Health Study cohort mortality outcomes. Like what all vegans love, right? They love this study, and
Don't
it actually
generalize
proves
me.
our point.
I'm someone right here. You can't generalize me like Garland Farms. He loves doing that and wasting all our time all day.
By the way, I also can present systematic reviews, like the systematic review that I showed last stream, which shows that if you go on plant-based diets, there's going to be micronutrient deficiencies. How about that?
Nonsense. All micronutrients. What are you talking about, dude?
All
Let's see
micronutrients?
the study. Show me the study. I'll fit into my schedule to look at this one also, and meet you again next week.
Link that study, but also
study.
while you're, please link the study.
He hasn't
and
linked
also,
either of the studies yet. Like, where are these studies? 2 studies.
Well,
give me the links.
He's got the links, but also I wanted to ask you, what are the 3 stages at which bias can be injected into a meta-analysis?
Have no idea.
Cultural and institutional bias.
Yeah, but as I just explained, it gets worked out when they see biases.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It depends on the institution in science. There might be a cultural bias in science.
No, it doesn't.
It is true.
Because when you do a study of like 3,000 studies, it's not just one group or one side of it. But this is all
right. First of all, what sort of science are we talking about? What sort of science are we talking about? Are we talking about?
Give me the
in social sciences.
Give me the links.
In social sciences, you can have bias.
I'm not talking until I get the links.
So may I ask a question of you, Jeffrey? So why does
not until I get the links? You guys are scared. If you can't show your evidence immediately, you obviously have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, I'm going to ask you about some evidence, because for years the World Health Organization said that a vegan diet was acceptable.
Who gives a shit about? Why are you guys scared of some old kook? You guys are all horrified of these rich guys ignoring the real problem, which is the government. You guys all pay your taxes off to the government.
You are incredibly rude and incapable of respectful conversation, number one.
Well, I'm on Garland Farms' channel right now, lady. If you want to come to my channel, you can, and we can have a nice conversation. But as long as you're up here with a bunch of carnists this is how you're gonna.
Yes.
Well, I'm
You can
sorry,
come
but
to my
I'm
channel.
not a good carnivore,
Every Friday,
so
we go live, a bunch of
whatever.
vegans, and you could talk all the shit to us you can, and we're actually very nice over there, unlike Garland Farms.
Oh,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
if
I
you're
don't
nice
think
in
so.
all quarters, I don't think you're someone I actually want to talk to. But the question is, why doesn't the World Health Organization still promote veganism as a diet that's
Why would I
acceptable
give
for
a
everybody?
shit about that? Doesn't make any difference. Like, what difference do you think
They
that
came
makes?
up with a bunch
If
of
some
studies. They
institution
have
says
like
something,
160.
if
They have
some institution
160
says something,
studies
that doesn't mean
listed up
it's the
there.
truth, lady. That just means a bunch of rich
Exactly
guys
right.
decided to
That's
push it
my
on
point.
people.
Thank you for finally admitting that. That's exactly
Okay.
right.
You're
Those
scared
studies
of all
don't
these.
mean anything.
You're
Okay. Can I ask you something then? Can't I go back to you and say there's rich people
Where's the
trying to push
link?
the vegan diet in society?
Where's the
I can
link?
say that because you're claiming that rich people are trying to push meat eating diets on people. I can turn around and claim to you that rich people are trying to push the vegan diet onto everyone. Right? So you're making a claim. I can
Who's
make
pushing
a
the
claim
vegan
right
diet? Have
back
you
at
been
you.
to a supermarket ever in your life? It's all vegan
Vegan
dairy,
foods get
bro. I
pushed.
don't know what you're
No,
talking
no,
about.
no. Lots of vegan
It's
foods get pushed
nonstop.
now.
No, absolutely not.
No.
Maybe
No,
in the
sugar-free
UK,
gets pushed
bro.
as well.
You're in the UK. We're
Sugar-free
all in
gets
the
pushed as well.
USA. So again, your anecdote, which you already said is isn't irrelevant, is irrelevant.
Well,
You're in the
yours is
UK.
irrelevant as
In
well.
the
Then
USA, we don't have a ton of vegan food at the supermarket. There's a tiny section. It's probably 2% of the supermarket food. So where is
okay?
So hold on. Do you guys think government is pushing veganism?
Wait, hold on.
Do you
Hold
guys
on.
think government is pushing veganism?
Yeah, actually,
You do.
actually,
They are.
You do. They are. That's why they spend trillions on subsidies for meat, because they're pushing veganism. What planet are you guys on?
What
Do you guys have
subsidies?
lipemia or something? All this fat you
what
eat is like
subsidies?
clogging your brain cells. None of this
No.
makes sense. That
I want
these
to
things
know
you're
what
saying.
subsidies you're talking about because I
Right.
farm.
What
and I
The food
subsidies?
industry in general. Stop. Food in general gets
There's
subsidies,
no
meat and
subsidies in
vegetables.
the USA. Is this what you're
There's
saying? Is this
farming
farmer lady?
farming in Europe. Look, in farming in Europe, meat and vegetables get
Your
subsidies, and
anecdote
dairy
is
products they all
irrelevant
get
to the
subsidized.
conversation going
Well,
on
your
here.
anecdotes are relevant then. Your anecdotes are relevant then. If
I'm
my
not
anecdotes are
using
relevant, yours is.
anecdotes.
Yes, you are.
And it's
Yes, you
anecdote,
are.
not antidote.
Can you share my screen, Garland? Can you share the screen, my screen?
Is the one that says saturated fat?
Send me the
Saturated fat?
links
Yeah.
so I can look at them
Yeah, it's up.
myself,
It's
and
been
we
up.
will talk about them
It's up.
next week. We'll see
Funny how
how
you dictate the
how
schedule
strong
on
this
somebody else's
this
channel.
Maybe I'm also like having some other appointments that day, right?
Well, of course, you're not going to
But
be able
anyway,
to make it, right? Well, I'll come back on Garland. If Garland goes live, I'll come back and I'll do it without you.
listen, you made the bold
You're not
health
gonna
claims,
show
right?
up.
You made the bold.
You engaged with a debate with me. You presented evidence. Now I obviously need to look at the evidence and respond.
So
Well,
I'm
you
looking
made
right
both
now.
claims.
This is like this groupthink shit. You guys all show each other garbage, and you make up stuff about it, and then you guys all think it's
Hey,
gospel.
there's a problem. There's a problem. No, listen. There's a problem here. No, shut up, gobshite. Okay, we've been patient with you.
Right,
We've been
I'll
patient with
mute
you.
myself.
Okay,
All right, I'll show you patience.
okay, right. So you claim the studies that you just been shown bullshit, but you haven't looked at them yet. So how do you know they're bullshit? Explain that. You just assume they are because you're a vegan and you've got some sort of psychological.
I said I'm
You
going to
just
look
did.
at
You
them and
did.
see what they're
You just
about.
did. You claim you're bullshit. Don't gaslight me. Jesus Christ. You vegans are nutcases. This is gaslighting,
I'm
lying,
super mad. I'm sitting here
obfuscation,
smiling.
straw manning. You're a bunch of
get the
lunatics.
evidence that's presented to me so I can actually look at it, so you guys can stop deceiving me.
Garland, can you
Put
send that in
the
the chat
link
also?
for the study in the
Can I what?
private chat.
Can
We
you
all have access
give
to
that
the
in
private
the chat?
Put them in there. It's really easy.
The private chat is being spammed, though. The private chat is being
Oh,
spammed.
but
That's
it's
the
not
problem.
moving that fast, bro. I can see
It's
it.
being spammed with like
Yeah,
weird shit.
you're making
You know, they don't
excuse-
give me any option to
You're making
ban the
excuse
people that
after
are
excuse
posting in
not to
there.
send me the link.
Post a link.
Wild.
Can you post a link in the YouTube stream instead?
So I'm looking at the USDA website, and the only thing I find is grants for meat processing. I don't find any subsidies for meat. And since I'm a meat
Corn and
producer,
soy
you
is
think
all
that I know about this
subsidized.
shit since I'm
Everything, you
one of
know,
the
like you're
officers of my local
clearly.
extension
If you're having to
service.
look this up, you
So what are
clearly.
you talking about?
If you're
subsidies for
having
meat?
to look this up, you clearly have no idea what you're talking about.
No, I do know what I'm
Corn
talking
and
about,
soy is
which is why I know
subsidized. Is
they
that a
don't
part of
exist.
farming? Yes, it is.
So you're sitting here
There's plenty of
lying
other
about
stuff.
my profession, and
Listen,
all
the-
you
Farming
hear
subsidies.
is
Farming
Boring.
subsidies is a broad
meat
topic.
processors.
Boring.
Listen, the whole thing to do with
The
the
link. Put
the
the link
the
in the private
forces,
chat.
the whole thing,
Why are
the
you
whole thing to
scared to
do.
put the link in the private
Put
chat?
the link in the
This is
YouTube chat,
baffling me. No,
please,
put it in
Golan.
the
Just put it in
fucking
the
private
YouTube chat.
I don't have the
Right
link.
there.
This is anti-war
trying to
mindset. Got the
find-
link.
Anti-war.
This is so typical
My
of
war
you
set.
guys.
Open up.
You guys never have
Can
the
you mute
links
this?
to
Can you
your
mute this
study.
vegan, please? Can you mute this vegan for 30 seconds? I'm trying to speak.
Just ask me.
Okay.
Jeffrey,
Anti-war
will you-
mindset.
That easy.
Anti-war
Jeffrey, will
mindset.
you hu-
work?
Jeffrey, will you hush for a moment? Thanks.
So rude.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Anti-war mindset. Get your links.
You guys there?
Open up the YouTube tab with the stream and just put the links in there. You can get it from there. He wants them. Everyone can get them. It's transparent.
Why don't you
Everyone can
guys
see the
try and
links.
get it over
They
there?
want to show
Yeah.
everyone. Just put it in the
We're actually
YouTube stream
up.
in the chat.
I'm not logged in with my YouTube account.
Are you saying to go on there?
Right now. That's the
All
thing.
right. I'll just do it later then. In comment.
Yeah.
You want to? Can you email me those links and I'll put them up?
Yeah. Okay. Wait. I put.
You guys
put
should
up
go
one link.
spam my
Right?
channel chat.
Wait a
Did it-
second.
The thing is,
Jeffrey
think about you
Phillips.
vegans, you've got this
There's plenty
weird
of videos
smug
for you to
attitude,
spam over
like
there.
having fun, and you're
Plenty
trolling.
of meat.
You don't
Huh?
come across as someone who really cares about animals and sentient life.
No.
You're just like this
You come
jokey little
Okay.
smug little troll.
Where have you deducted
That's
Take
exactly
them to
right.
the house.
sir?
I will be in there in a while.
Where have you deduced that from, sir?
What was that? Okay.
Thank
My.
you.
Let me say something. My throat
Where
is
have
kind
you
of sore
deduced
right now.
that one, my sir? I don't like animals.
Well,
Interacting with you lot. No, you
Huh?
don't care about them.
Did you say you lot?
You
Because
don't
I'm
really
not
care
a
about
lot.
them.
I'm a one person. I'm not a lot. So again, stop
Yeah,
generalizing.
you're part of the vegan cult, though, aren't you? You're part of the vegan collective.
At least I'm not a death cult like you guys. At least we're not a death
Well,
cult or a blood
death
cult or a
cult. What do you mean
sacrifice
death cult?
cult.
So every single carnivore.
Oh yeah,
Still
you didn't
not
like that one, did you?
acknowledging
So
crop
No, I don't
protection.
care. I don't care.
Jeffrey,
Like,
Jeffrey, let me say something. Let me say something.
Let me ask you a question, dude.
Jeffrey,
Let me
you
ask
make
you a question.
claims,
You're
right?
you're in
And
support of eating
basically
meat,
when I
right?
challenge you on these points, you run away immediately.
Yeah.
So just stick to one topic, right? Stick to either health,
okay, the
the
topic
environment.
is put the link to the study you are
I
citing in the
posted it to
private chat,
Garland,
or
so
else
he might
you're
do
a
that.
liar. Basically, you're
Hello?
up here lying.
I'm
If
not
you
lying.
can't prove, bro, if you're going to be presenting evidence, you have to prove that the evidence actually exists, and you can't even do it. And I've been asking
he showed
for
it.
almost an hour.
No. You presented the evidence. Shut up.
If I
Shut
say
up.
no more than
Shut your
you,
mouth.
do I win?
Shut up.
Do I win if I say
Shut
no
up.
more than you?
He showed the
Why are
evidence
we
in the stream.
talking to somebody
I
who's
just want to point
obviously
out the
hiding out from the
stupidity.
discussion?
Okay,
Can I say
posting the
something real
link.
quick?
Put the link in the comments.
I can
Go
I
ahead.
can tell you why. You
How
can't find
stupid
anything
do you
vegan.
have
you're
to
not
be?
over.
This is the best I can offer.
This is
Yeah,
not,
what I-
this is
Wait,
not
quick,
good.
Can't
quick
hear you, John
question.
Bob. Sorry.
What I want to say about that study in
You have to
particular is
jump
that
in.
it shows that it is an overview over systematic reviews, right? Very high standard of evidence, and it looks at like saturated fat and like
Okay,
health
what's the
outcomes.
second one? Give me the second one now.
Oh Jesus fucking Christ! I need you the title. Can't you not
What do you
Google
mean,
it?
Jesus
Shit.
fucking Christ? Give me the give. It's a link. We're on the internet, bro. You're presenting
We'll come to
stuff.
the house.
Shouldn't you
Just
have it?
email it to me and I'll post it. We don't want to give him any technicality to get off on.
You guys can't hear me?
Why are you hiding behind people, Garland Farms? This is weird.
Psychological reason, are you a vegan? What compels you to be a vegan? I'm just curious.
I've been vegetarian and
What
vegan.
compels you to be a vegan?
What?
What compels you to be a vegan?
What do you mean? What compels me to be a vegan? I'm here
What
to
psychological
answer your
issues do you have?
questions. I'm here to get this link. So I can come back next week and we can talk about this.
He wants you to come back next week, honestly.
I do not care if you don't
If you
show
don't
up.
come
I will not
back
lose any
that
sleep
week,
if you don't show up, lady. You don't have to be here.
Nobody will lose. You don't show up.
Where's the other link?
Jeffrey,
Sir?
have you ever heard of the pathology?
I sent
Have you heard-
Garland in his email right now.
What's the name of that study on the authoritarian mindset? The pathology of the authoritarian mindset from the 50s.
What's more authoritarian
It was
than
done by
killing people
Adorno.
needlessly or killing
Yeah.
sentient beings needlessly when you have
Well,
other options?
Well,
That's
thing-
what
authoritarian
you
than
do.
that.
That's what
Yeah,
vegans do.
That's
That's
what
what
yeah, but the
vegans
thing
do.
is,
Excuse me?
life is
Garland
life.
Farms already
Life is
admitted
life.
that
Tigers,
animal ag kills
yes.
does more harm to the environment than
I'm
plant ag.
Tiger's authoritarian.
I'm posting the next link in the comments. No.
Garland,
Our
why do you
tiger's
always yell
authoritarian
when
then
I
for
start
eating prey.
playing?
Our tiger's authoritarian then for eating prey.
Oh, there's the
You
nutrivore
have to
also.
say,
Are you
Jeffrey.
comparing humans with carnivores? What do
Yeah,
you mean?
we're
We're not
we're
carnivores.
animals. Humans are animals, though. We're animals. We're animals just like them. We're just more
Yes, but
intelligent.
we're
That's
smarter
all.
than that, and we're living right now in a time when we could get by without killing animals. So, what do
No,
you mean?
can't.
Are you
Even
No,
even like the
percent
That's
lion
an
because
extraordinary claim.
lions?
yeah,
You're
exactly.
wrong because lions.
That's an extraordinary
your argument,
claim.
bro. That's your argument.
no, but I'm
That's
just
an,
Wrong because
that's an
lions.
extraordinary claim. Do you have any evidence to back it up?
Evidence to back what
you
up?
My,
can't even be a vegetarian.
Oh no, next
my
week
argument
we'll have
is that
plenty
I
of
have
evidence
6
next
kids
week when we come back
and
after
I'm not
looking at
dying
your
because
evidence.
you want me to eat kale.
I don't eat kale. What does that have to do with
Animal
anything?
mindset. Do you
Again,
have
you're
that,
generalizing me
that study that
using anecdotes.
specifically looked at a vegan future?
I
What?
don't care if
So,
you like it or not. That is my
Listen, man.
All right.
I'm going to go now.
You
So I
guys
just
are
want to say one thing
boring.
before I go.
Bye.
So for what?
Jesus
Can you
Christ.
guys not hear me?
No, dude, you
Can
weren't
hear
in
you.
there, bro. That's not how StreamYard works.
Yeah, they don't hear you. They
You
don't.
had to go over to the Garland Farms thing and go in on that side.
Oh, so I couldn't talk shit to him anyways.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, you
Yeah,
could
I
have
was
went over there
wondering.
and done it. Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. I so wanted to talk shit to that beta dude. Like,
Go over there. We
ah,
could you go up and we'll watch. Holy
God,
shit.
I'm
There's a
I'm
lot of
over it
comments.
now. I wanted to at the time, but you know, we're here. We're good.
Exhibit. Yeah, that's a good one. I need to get Braxton in here so he can be Jamie and run through the comments.
As I
Yeah,
get my
so
laptop
that was
working again,
hilarious. That
I'll-
was super funny. That was great. We got more stuff to work with now. These studies will be interesting to look at. These studies, vegan gains, Joey Carbstrong, they were all in the private comments. We'll probably get all them to look at this stuff too and see what's going on.
What do you
But
guys
yeah,
think of Joey?
you can't just bombard someone with a study and put them on the spot and expect them to navigate that. Like, that's insane. And like, by what he said, for one, he was talking out of his ass. He doesn't know how to read a study worth of any more than I do, you know. Well, no, I probably do know how to read a study a little bit more than him, but I at least understand studies more than him, because he said, he's all, oh, the scientists flub the data. And it's like, okay, then that data is trash and it would have never been considered legitimate data to begin with, because it would be outside the general consensus of science, and anything that's that hard outside the general consensus of science gets thrown in the trash as junk science. So whatever this study is, red and processed meat, whatever, saturated fat and estimate, we're going to go through it quite a bit, and it'll be fun. Because These guys, it's so dumb when they walk into these traps. Like, they don't understand what they're doing when they walk into these traps. You know, they can't just throw a study on the screen, say explain their version of it that goes against what the study says, and expect that to be. He's all oh, once you look at the raw data, yeah, the raw data is not the correct data. Like, you have to make it. There's always adjustments in science. You can't just, like, it's baffling. But this dude was saying that there was vegans in the study, and there are no vegans in the study. Like, we'll see. But it didn't say anything about comparing it with vegans. It was no processed meat. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see what this is. Oh boy, this is great. Red and processed meat and mortality and low meat intake populations. So right when you first look at a study, let me pull this up. You want to find out what kind of study it is on the hierarchy of science. So let me pull up what this thing looks like. Oops. So the pyramid of science, what's it called? I think this is it. Oh, sorry, was I yelling in your ear, babe? Sorry, I start yelling, especially if it's Garland. She has to go flee. Yeah, hierarchy of science, because I'm a loud dude. I understand. So this thing here. So we got to look at the study and find out where it falls on this. And John Bob, pay close attention to this stuff, because this is really important for us as vegans. We can't throw stuff around like these guys do. So you got the hierarchy of scientific evidence, where up at the top you have meta-analysis and systematic reviews, which these are the strongest forms of evidence, because they're studies of studies, and they're studies of dozens of studies, and they're studies of hundreds of studies, and they're studies of thousands of studies over
that's like the
huge
top
amount
of the
time.
top.
Sometimes, across the world studies, they'll look at all the studies in the world. And once you do that enough science, this is where these guys are all wrong. All these meathead carnists are absolutely wrong when they just simply dismiss every study because, oh, those scientists messed with the data because someone paid them or something like this. So once you do enough of these meta-analyses, there's patterns that come out that are very clear, and those become the real strong forms of science, where it's like, okay, so if 95% of the studies in the world say that eating milk every morning raises your chances of a heart attack by 80%, and then some study puts out, no, it actually lowers your heart attack by 80%, that will be immediately dismissed in science, in these studies. It will be dismissed. So this idea that enough interest could be put in so many thousands of studies around the world for hundreds of years, it's very hard to say, point at some rich guy and be all, he's influenced this all the way since the 1800s. Like, you can't do that. That's not how it works. This science, this meta-analyses, are the highest standards in the world. So when he explained, and so again, that's millions of scientists, maybe not millions, but thousands of scientists in some of these studies. If a few of them give up funny numbers, those in the entire study gets eliminated from the master study. You know, like the meta-analysis is like the highest like it's the best information we have as humans. So when people are like, oh, that study doesn't matter, you know, it's like, well, wait, you're saying that science is wrong because Joe Rogan had the carnivore doctor on and he said that all this stuff is wrong. Like, oh, okay.
It's like
Right.
Padini.
Okay.
You should
Yeah.
have heard him today. Fucking Padini
Oh,
Padini
no,
today.
we don't care about Padini, dude. Padini has the worst takes, and then he just makes a joke out of it and disappears. He just wants to get people. He just wants attention, dude. Like he really just wants attention. And
do you think that's why he goes against it? Boy, that would explain him.
No,
that would really explain him really well, honestly.
It's because Larkin Rose, he's closer with Larkin Rose than he is with Mark Passio. That's why. And it doesn't, and it would take effort and would be hard for him to do to go vegan. Obviously, he just doesn't care. But no,
Either
it's just,
way, like, look at Larkin. Why would you want to look like that guy?
oh, he's on steroids.
I don't know if he's on steroids,
No,
but
he's
obese
been on
and
TRT.
looks
He's
like
been on
shit.
TRT for a very long time. It was very obvious. He went from being a little fat schlub to like, and then his personality completely changed too. So, you know.
Funny.
So anyway, so when you look at a study, you got to figure out what kind of study it is and go from there. But we will look at this stuff and we will come back, or we will do on the show if Garland's not live. Which it was funny because once I started saying, hey, we're gonna come back and talk about this next week, none of them wanted to have anything to do with it. So it's like, obviously you guys are, you know, and like I said, they show each other this stuff and they just make shit up because that's what the influencers are doing. That's what Rogan and all his buddies are doing. So, and then they're all, oh yeah, that's true. Look at that study. That's right. You know, and it's like, you guys, holy crap.
And you were inconveniencing them by asking for the titles of the studies. Like they were getting so bothered about that.
He would not cough it up for almost 40 minutes. It took forever.
Like, vegans are so unreasonable.
And he just like and what he was showing me wasn't a clip from a study. That's not what they look like. You know, so it's like, and like Garland does that. He makes all these graphs and shit and plays them off as being something legit when really he made it. He's got this red and yellow graph. I don't know if you remember from the debate.
I don't know if I remember that.
It's basically, he says how much more soy will have to grow if we abolish cow farming, right? And it's this huge graph that's like off the chart saying we need more soy to get enough protein for everyone. And it's like, who says we have to get all of our protein from soy? And it was just like his whole chart, his whole argument down the toilet. Like, dude, we get most of our protein not from soy as it is. So I'm confused.
I'm not protein deficient. I've been vegan for 6 years already. I feel great, you know. I don't think we're supposed to be high protein animals though. Although I have been pretty curious about sugar ever since you said that last week. I really want to start
Braxton how he feels about sugar now. Braxton was a sugar phobe also.
I was, yeah.
Did you do it?
I'm coming around. Carbs
high carb Braxton is his new YouTube name.
Yeah, the simple carbs, they've been treating me pretty well. I'm starting to get a little more pep in my step, switching things up a little.
Came out of his shell the day I was like, he was putting sugar in his mud water, and I was like, put twice as much as you normally would, and he's like, oh, okay. And that day he started talking everyone's ear off after being super quiet for 2 days.
Without caffeine.
And pretty quiet on the show. Now he's like busting one-liners all day long. This dude's hilarious, by the way. He doesn't make any jokes on the show, but all day long he's busting one-liners, and like at least 3/4 of them are like worthy of being on like a comedy show. Way better than Justin Bedini. Like, hilarious. And he's like running up and down mountains and stuff. And he like got here all like he was all like muscle atrophied when he got here. We got him in the sun. He's got some sun on his skin. He's got some natural vitamin D flowing after being in Washington State his whole life. We got him out here in the desert in the sun. He got blood blisters on his shoulders the first couple of days because he went a little too hard and he wasn't listening to me when I kept telling him to cover up because he's kind of a
you gotta cover up at first.
Yeah.
My sweetie gets pretty mad at me when I take my shirt off. I don't listen either. I'm pretty bad with that, Braxton, so don't feel bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes we got to learn the hard way, right?
Yeah, especially being up in Washington, it's kind of a vampire by default kind of state. So you take off your shirt up there, it's a little different. Come down here to the desert, whew, you get torn up if you're not careful.
Yeah, I went for a bike ride with my wife, and she was telling me, wear a jacket, honey, wear a jacket. And I was like, no, I want to like get some sunlight, because we had a nice long drive. And I burnt the hell out of my arm. And I don't know, it was like 5-6 hours on the bike or maybe more. But yeah, I fried my arm. And she's like, see, you never listen, she said. She always tells me that. I honestly don't listen well enough. Oh, she's actually watching the show tonight, by the way, guys. If anybody wants to make sure she's okay.
Tony Bones clap back there.
Boy, was that chick fucking nuts.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how crazy she was. She just started freaking out. Is she okay?
Just as crazy as she was, John Bob. You went pretty dark too.
Yeah, I believe that. I couldn't stand her. I hate Western feminists. Like, dude, she was mean to that guy for no reason, just attacked him. Like, I don't take well to feminists because I've been screwed over just for being a guy. I've seen the sexism in our system. I'm from Minnesota, which is like the biggest women's state, by the way, guys. Like,
yeah,
13-year custody battle, and I've met men that were stabbed with knives and they went to jail. And like, yeah, I just am not for women like her. I get pretty emotionally stirred up, honestly. So, but I'll own it. It is what it is. Like I said, I've been brutalized, so I'm a little bit biased on the subject. Yeah,
so. You are. We can tell.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think we're going to watch another video. Babe, you want to come watch this video? I'm going to go to the live stream and I'm going to start spamming it with our StreamYard to get some.
Oh, look at Devin. Larkin barrel ass Rose. That guy is such a beta. I'm with you, brother. He deleted me though. I can't call him a beta to his face because he likes an echo chamber.
He's deleted all of us. He's a coward. He doesn't like being called out. He uses he uses the same, if not worse, arguments than everyone else.
Yeah,
I've never heard him say anything intelligent. I mean,
he claims that vegans claim to not harm anything, and that we're being dishonest because we do harm things by incident, which is super fallacy over and over again.
Yeah, because we're following that line of logic, then they do more by default. Like they do the exact same things that we do, like 10 times as bad because there's animals involved.
Mm-hmm.
There's a name for that fallacy. I can't remember exactly what it is though. I got to get better with mine.
I thought it was the appeal. Oh shit!
What happened?
No. The appeal to futility fallacy, right?
Appeal to futility?
Yeah, futility. The appeal to futility, claiming, "Oh, it's bad over here, so we ain't gonna make a difference anyways," type thing. No, that ain't it. I fucked that up, but it's okay.
We'll get it all refined soon enough. We'll get
So,
flashcards.
Ed. So this is a video we watched before, but it pissed me off, and I've been thinking about it ever since. And me and Allie kind of had a brainstorm the other day about it. This kind of where should I start? I think we'll just get into it, and as things pop up, I'll stop. And if you guys want me to stop, I'll stop. Anyone else want to come up here? Devin, that would be great if you come up. And brainstorm also, because something needs to be done. Rip Allie. Oh, rip Allie's ears.
I'll be right back, guys.
All right. I have a super expensive mic that I don't have to yell at, and I yell anyway.
It just equalizes the volume.
Yeah, it doesn't equalize the volume to Allie's ears right here.
Yeah.
Rip Allie on Facebook. Yeah, Allie's Facebook got yoinked. She's pretty sad. Her simp army is gone.
No, it's all the memories, all the memes. It was like I treated it like like a safe storage for pictures and stuff. But whatever. F Facebook.
Yeah, Zen, you should come up. Oh boy, Race Lever wants to debate again. I can take you from here. I don't need to come up there. You'll have a tough enough time handling. Oh, Race Lever. They need like an auto comment. Maybe I should change to like one of those other apps. Yeah, that was crazy. So Garland had me up there, and he had all these fools in the backstage. Obviously, Richard Vegan Gains probably could have picked apart that. Yeah, obviously it's annoying. They're like, that could have been really cool having everyone up there. But no, Garland knows that that's way too much power on one panel. What up, Dev? Where you been, fool?
What's up? I just got off work. I'm putting together a roof rack. I'm putting on the GX.
Yeah, I saw that. You gotta rubberize the sides of your vehicle so you can actually take it somewhere without scratching it.
Oh, should I do some paint protection film so I don't get
one of those
tree branches down the side?
Yeah, plastic dip it.
Do the rhino lining.
Rhino lining is good, but it's heavy and permanent. Plastic
Yeah.
you could just peel off after. Oh, what up, Steve? So I know we watched this once before, but I think we need there's a little bit more conversation we have to go on regarding Ed's stance and his take on conspiracy
theorists,
and how they're possibly bad for animals. We'll just get going.
Yep.
Where to go?
In the very fabric of reality.
A lot of people wondering, why does this impossible meat taste so much like meat? And it is a conspiracy theory. And I know you're a theorist. That there may be human meat in the Impossible Burger.
Now, the term conspiracy theory is exceptionally broad and encompasses so many ideas and events. And it's important to recognize that something shouldn't be disregarded simply because it is a conspiracy theory. However, for many conspiracy theorists, well, they find themselves doing the opposite. They become more inclined to believe a conspiracy theory is true because it is a conspiracy theory. And sadly, the consequence of this is you end up falling deeper and deeper into more.
Is that something that you do?
Sorry, what did he say?
He said that conspiracy theorists just believe in conspiracies because they're conspiracies.
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
it's definitely an absolute generalization. Again, sure, it can be a pattern, but no.
so massive generalization on millions and millions of people right off the bat.
There's millions and millions of regular ass people that believe in certain conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
that we don't believe in.
One of those conspiracies being that we're not supposed to be eating meat.
There you go.
Veganism is like
Conspiracy theories.
of all.
Yeah.
Well, conspiracy theory itself is a propaganda word.
You see it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, when you break it down though, it's like a conspiracy is people conspiring to do something, and a theory is like basically
People being skeptical of that thing happening. Yeah.
Yeah, the logic of it. Yeah.
Obviously, the word has been stigmatized, but we still use it kind of by its definition. Anyway.
Extreme beliefs, which become further and further detached from reality. Well, I already know that I'm going to get some.
You mean like neoliberalism?
Comments about how I'm brainwashed because I don't think the earth is a floating disc, or how I'm in the pocket of the global elite because I'm not crying myself to sleep because of a benign city planning idea called a 15-minute city.
The media's covering up the Biden crime family stealing this election.
Because that's every conspiracy head is that guy right there. Beer, barbecue, freedom.
Yeah.
And those guys still believe in government.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your Biden's covering up this election. He's stealing it.
Sick.
Mic drop.
Where were we? What was the last question?
But ironically, unsubstantiated and extreme theories that are easily disprovable actually do more harm than good for the themes that
easily disprovable. If conspiracy theories were easily disprovable, don't you think like they wouldn't be around? That's the whole
The
thing
one
about.
I made up. I made up one that didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Me and my buddy, we said that Diet Mountain Dew cures cancer because it's so toxic it wipes out cancer cells, just to see
It's like
if
chemo.
it would go anywhere.
It's like chemo.
It didn't go anywhere. Yeah.
conspiracy theorists seek to represent. Now, corporations and governments do terrible things. They often try to hide what they do and do them covertly and secretly, except in this,
Okay.
which become further and
okay, so governments do terrible things. This is kind of where.
Therefore, we should find a way to improve government.
Okay. Yeah. So, are these influencers even vegan if they're paying tens of thousands of dollars in taxes, which turn into subsidies, which is the whole thing that they're so against? It's like, first you have to be vegan, obviously, and then it's not just enough being vegan. You have to be an activist too, right?
Yeah.
So then yeah, you have to be an activist, but then you have to, vote with your dollars and stop supporting these governments that are actually paying they're paying for the meatheads to eat meat. Like, you can't continue to do this kinds of stuff. Like, these guys just can't keep doing this if they're going to just be, contributing to the problem and continue. And it's just like, it's like Earthling Ed. It's like he's made so many videos, but yet he has to continue making these videos to keep his revenues up. And, a shitload of that is going off to literally feed these guys. Like, the subsidies come straight from the tax dollars. So, like, if you're not an anarchist and you're vegan, like, it really doesn't make sense to support the government in any way, knowing the terrible things it does. He's saying that it does terrible things, yet you're going to play into like two-party politics and be like, I'm liberal, I'm going to make a video against these crazy, right-wing conspiracy heads. For one, he's not going to change anyone's mind. He's only being divisive here. For two, this guy's making millions, and he's generating millions for the death machine, for wars and for factory farming. So, and he's gladly doing it. Patreon, YouTube, there are other places to put your information out. Earthling Ed doesn't need to be on YouTube. Earthling Ed will have a following on any platform he goes to. the idea that like you're just going to endlessly generate tax revenue for the machine that you're attempting to fight against, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, we're all up here, we're all anarchists. We use agorism daily. Agorism is the fine art of eliminating the government out of your life. You know, this is like peak extreme veganism here, you know? Like, and another thing, these vegan YouTubers should be helping out smaller vegan YouTubers instead of fighting with them and attempting to smear them in the public because of their beliefs. We don't all have to believe the same things. And Earthling Ed here is obviously siding on the state's version of what's going on here. So I don't see, you know, like, this is an extension. We all have to continue being activists and continue our fight, you know, to save the animals. We can't just generate revenue for ourselves and justify it by being like, oh, well, I need to keep up my fight on YouTube. Therefore, I need to keep generating tons of tax revenue for the government to just buy meat and feed it to people with. It doesn't really make sense. So taking this like liberal left-wing position, and again, another thing, you know, in Vietnam, there was a huge outcry by the left to not go into Vietnam. And that was completely screwing the plans of going into Vietnam for the warlords and all the war profiteers, right? And so they literally invented hippies, dirty, stinky hippies, and spread them all over the place with their peace message. And immediately, all these left-wing people who didn't want war in Vietnam wanted war. Like, and this is the same thing they're doing again. The psyop on us is that every vegan is a liberal, and we aren't. And that's hurting vegans. Or that's hurting vegans. It's hurting the animals that's the case, because no one you know, no one wants to be a part of this, because libs, basically, you know, like, not more people. Like, we're not going to have like a critical mass until we get more people from the left. And like, at least we're all anarchists. We're not, we're obviously not left wing over here, but we need to step out of this two-party paradigm mumbo jumbo, stop fighting with each other, support each other, and stop feeding the tax man. These are things that should be pinnacle to any vegan. Agorism, look it up. The fine art of lowering the amount of tax money you're giving to the death machine. None of these people are doing this. They're scrambling for as much money as they can. That's gluttonous. You know, when you're fighting with other vegans on your channel and taking tons of money, like, that's super sketchy. And it's not good for the animals. It's definitely not good for the animals. Definitely not good for the animals. Supporting other vegans, despite what they may believe in, is definitely good for the animals, because the animals don't give a shit about our conspiracy theories. The animals just don't want to get killed. So, Earthling Ed, you know, maybe you should lighten up a little bit, and maybe instead of making videos criticizing smaller YouTubers, you should have those people on the show and spread their message, although it might be a little different than yours. It's good for the animals. It's definitely better for the animals than whatever this is he's doing here. I don't know.
Yeah, if anything, like, discourse, you know, where there's areas where people disagree, like, we could help each other, especially people like Ed. If he sees something that he disagrees with, he could take time to learn about the other side's position and, you know, start to either help them refine it or kind of like amalgamate it into his own sort of worldview. Like, he could develop more. Because like veganism is inherently, like, it's pretty anti-government, it's anti-authoritarian. So you can't just, you know, You can't just go around and be like, oh, well, like we all need to be vegan, but the government is bad for this, but everything else, they're perfectly fine. Like it's just some weird form of complacency that really has no place. I
It's
don't know.
weird. They're literally the cause of the world's problems, and everybody's taught worldwide to support it. Like it's horrible. Although
Like
I
if
will say this, that, like in the Philippines compared to America, you have 100 times the freedom. I see why when people go to different countries, how they're not. It's not the same as here. It's not nearly as restrictive. And once you get restricted to a certain point is when you start acting out against it. You know what I mean? Start
Mhm.
trying to jump out of the proverbial pot, so to speak.
Yeah, paying taxes is not vegan, guys. I'm sorry. I was gonna
It's
go over
definitely
and
not.
tell Garland Farms to start going after these guys about that. But he started. I don't know. His panel was extra annoying today. But I wanted to go up there and be like, you need to start bugging these guys about how they're paying taxes to the subsidies, or paying taxes to the government, which turns into subsidies. Go after them with that, because I mean, like paying taxes is not vegan at all, like at all. So let's, like these guys need to exit. What's the word? Depopulate. No, you wrote it down over there. Divest.
Oh.
Divest in taxable platforms. Divest from taxable platforms. There are other ways of taking donations, cryptocurrency being a massive tool that you have at your fingertips, Earthling Ed. You can take donations. No one will know you got them. No Patreon taking whatever 40%, no YouTube taking 60%, 70%. You get all the money anonymously, and you don't have to pay taxes for it. You could have been doing this for the last 10 years, but you're too busy poning people in your videos. It really wouldn't be that big of a deal for you to change. And that would, this is all like your personal journey of agorism should start, the second you become vegan, because nothing about the state is vegan. Nothing about paying taxes, nothing about the government, nothing they do. Everything it does is steal, cheat, kill, and pay for subsidies.
Good point.
Yeah, as practical. Yeah. So yeah, like Zen says, obviously it's baby steps, and that's why it's not like we're not like, oh, you shouldn't be paying any taxes. It's you stop voluntarily paying taxes, and you pull back at any chance you can. If you have to run a business and you have to be on the books, and you can't use crypto for some reason, at least limit in every way possible the amount of money you're making on the books, because all that money requires tax, and especially in the UK, like it's practically socialism over there, isn't it? So the extension, the vegan extension, veganism, activism, and then agorism has to come after that. You can't just keep staying within the state, practicing within the state, buying new cars, like stuff like that, creating new taxable entities. Like I guarantee this guy's got a fleet of cars ever since he started. Like he's probably bought a dozen cars. Like this is not vegan. Buying new cars is not vegan, bro. Like that's generating. So when you buy a new car, Earthling Ed, I mean, I'm making an assumption that he buys new cars, but I'm pretty sure he buys new cars. I see him driving around in fancy cars all the time. So when you buy a car, you're creating with the government a new taxable entity, as if you created a new human that will get taxed for the rest of its life. This car creates massive amounts of money for the war machine and for the subsidy machine. This car will continue to create revenue for the death machine until the car is crushed up in a junkyard. So buying new cars is definitely not vegan. And again, paying taxes, definitely not vegan. This needs to be shouted from the rooftops to these fools. That's why I'm like that's why I'm going to the anti-vegans to get after these guys about this, because they need to change. Because it's not good for the animals to pay taxes.
Yeah, the
it's
people on the
definitely not good for the animals to make divisive videos that are politically motivated, because this is clearly politically motivated. And if you're dabbling, if you're involving yourself in the two-party paradigm, you are supporting the state 100%. And you're supporting the state, who literally pays meatheads to eat meat. Literally pays for 80% of the meat that they eat. The government pays for it. And you're supporting that by doing the two-party thing and paying taxes and buying cars and not supporting other YouTubers. There could be 5 times as many vegan YouTubers as if these guys would start featuring some of them. There was a video back in the day on YouTube, first wave YouTubers that got really big. This guy made a video once YouTube started being stingy with the influencers. This guy made a video and he's like, we're YouTube, like we need to support each other and like keep the lion's share of the power in YouTube, or else YouTube influencers are screwed. And it makes a lot of sense. Like these big guys, they could make someone huge, but instead they compete, because all I'm hearing from Ed here is competition. I know I've seen this before and we haven't played the whole thing, but like he's going after other vegans for their the conspiracies that they believe in, when he should, if we're all being like what are their words they like, if we're all being inclusive here, we shouldn't care what people believe in, especially if it's something as like like something like flat earth or freaking whatever Tartaria or whatever, like these conspiracies he's talking about. Like, why do you care? These don't hurt people. Like, it's just very strange and divisive, and it just it doesn't look good. I've known a lot of YouTubers, and they hit a point where it just becomes all about ego, and this is what it looks like. It's like, why aren't you supporting other vegans 100% no matter what? Like, you're not convincing anyone to change anything by making a video like this. You're just dividing an already divided group. Like no one even believes that there's any such thing as like vegans that aren't liberal, and like that's shocking to me, because I don't know any liberal vegans actually. All my vegan friends are hardcore ANCAPs, and you get us all in a room, there's no one that could beat us in a debate. Like, I don't, it's very weird. What does Race Lever have to say? For anyone remember, I partially agree with you, but it's a little too much. Still need to earn support to some degree. What's too much? What, not paying taxes? What do you mean? You have a choice, bro.
Fuck paying taxes.
You either bend over and let them give it to you, or you don't. You don't have to become I know it's really cool and popular to be a tax slave and spend the rest of your life paying taxes, but there are people out here not doing that. It is possible. to limit your taxes to just what they, rob from you when you get gas or something like that.
Dude,
What was
I'm
it? Get
trying
up
like
here,
hell.
Reese Lever. Prove you're not a bot.
Yeah, let's see it, buddy. Let's see your face. He's here every week, though.
I know.
Him and I used to get down in the comments, like we just back and forth. Those are I do miss when I had more time to just hop in the comments, just get my little flow mode, just riff with Race Lever. Now we have our suspicions he's the only bot.
Yeah. We didn't believe Braxton was real until we saw him with our actual eyes.
Even on
You guys
camera, I
didn't
could have been
think it
doing
was
that.
real, huh?
Actually fly in
Who
the
said
face
that?
of science and data, such as conspiracy theories about the environment. Now, the conspiracy theory that climate change isn't real and is an orchestrated plot by a global elite is an interesting theory when you actually consider whose best interests it serves. Now, let's take into account that many of the arguments that are used by climate change deniers are easily debunkable pieces of pseudoscience, which were actually created and spread by the fossil fuel industries themselves.
Okay.
So many of the
That's a
arguments used by
conspiracy that he can't prove. So only his conspiracies are okay. And science is completely settled on what's going on with the environment, which it's not. So like this dude's just making stuff up, and he's got a really smug look on his face when he's doing it, and he's cutting down, a large amount of his audience. And it's just not smart.
climate change deniers come from the industries that have vested interests in people not believing the climate science. So now you have an extreme conspiracy theory that actually aids the largest, richest, and most politically powerful companies on the planet. And if that wasn't confusing enough, astonishingly, politicians who accept
Humans that think that they're humans that are arrogant enough to think that we have any idea of what's going on with the climate or the whatever is out there. They're just more of these people that are they have a lot of faith in government and what government has to say. Meanwhile, they say government does terrible things, but no, I'm going to believe certain things and not believe other things. It's called cherry picking, which is like, a pretty weak thing to do. Cherry pick your information. There's no concrete evidence on climate change. The climate is always changing, always has in history, and always will. And to act as if we have something to do with it. The Mother Earth will always be around, as like it's way bigger than we are, and we have very little choice on what has to happen, what's going to happen when it comes to stuff like that.
hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars from these industries are now being positioned as defenders of freedom and drainers of the so-called swamp. In the UK, we even have people like Jacob Rees-Mogg and Nigel Farage who have somehow been positioned as anti-establishment. And the fact that conspiracy theorists seem to be more likely
we're
to have
going back to
theories about
politics.
environmental groups than they do about BP,
This
Shell.
is all politically motivated. He is defending his political party, which is attached to the system that subsidizes meat and dairy. Like he's literally sticking up for the people he claims to be against. I can't see that not as being hypocritical. Guaranteed this dude's paying fat taxes every year. And that's going straight into wars and meat and dairy. Son of a bee's knees. Look at Alex Jones.
them to continue and are, of course, susceptible to the lobbyists that represent them. And yet within many conspiracy circles, it's the activist groups, climate scientists, and academics whose motivations are deemed most suspect. This also follows how the politics of many of these theories have now changed, and how many of the—
And I'm sure this guy drives cars. Isn't he not taking his own advice? Like, if he's this worried about it, I don't understand. Ride a bike everywhere. We do most of the time.
Well, that's one of those conspiracy theories that vegans should all be on board with, that most people are. You know, the actual pollution coming from the actual, like, environmental ramifications coming from the polluting from, animal agriculture. Like,
well, animal ag and government are the big.
Yeah. The pollutants. I mean, it all comes
The
from.
U.S. military is one of the biggest polluters on the planet.
Yeah,
but at the same time, they're extremely green because they use nuclear power for all those vessels, but somehow that's, dangerous and toxic to our environment, but it's good enough for them, right?
Government is the biggest polluter of all time. They're the heavyweight champions of polluting. So defending your political party from other vegans, it's just a really hypocritical position to take. He's literally generating money for that stuff. I keep repeating myself, but it's just shocking to think that he somehow has nothing to do with climate change. When I see him in his videos driving around fancy vehicles, I what?
These more extreme conspiracy theories are deep.
Like, he probably thinks just because he's vegan, he's somehow, like, his footprint, makes it irrelevant or something like that, when you should always be striving to do less harm in every aspect of your life. You don't just do one thing and take this high and mighty position as if you're shit.
Well, they don't have natural law principles in their heart.
What? Who?
Most of these, like, lefty vegan people, they don't have a holistic understanding of doing no harm and taking no shit.
Yeah.
They don't have, like, a foundation to work with.
Yep.
With the right-wing ideology. While historically distrust of governments and powerful industries have been tied in with left-wing politics, and often, of course, drew on real examples of corruption, far-right ideology weaponizes a different type of distrust, this time placed on academics, experts, and so-called elites, and ties this distrust in with extreme conspiracy theories. Now, Piers from that clip seems to believe that actually BP and others like them are the ones trying to save the planet. One of the arguments he shouts at the environmentalists is that plants use CO2 to grow, so we need more CO2. This argument is tied into something called global greening, which is the argument that increased carbon dioxide is good because it can increase global greening, which relates to the amount of plants and also the number of leaves on plants and trees globally. This idea was popularized by a documentary that was produced and distributed by the coal industry. The idea ignores the fact that two things, of course, can be true at once. Increased CO2 levels can lead to an increase in global greening and can also lead to an increase in atmospheric CO2 levels, which cause global warming and the other climate issues.
Again, so we're getting back to the pyramid of science. Why does he care about some low-level science? Like, that's low-hanging fruit. It's already known to the world to be low-level science. So why use it as an example in your show when you could be using something actually important as an example in your show? It's just like, when I was just over in Garland Farms, there are these guys and they're just pulling up, whatever studies. Or when I met with Joey Schwartz and I had a meta study and he had an article that was written by a carnist. It's these guys want to look like someone who know how to read these studies, but they don't know anything about it whatsoever. Like that guy was saying, he's like, oh, I know that these numbers are wrong because the scientists mess up the numbers. And it's like, okay, well, if it's just some scientists in one study, then that's like that's like an article. It's like a case study, which is like, only a few numbers. It's not hundreds or thousands of examples, human examples. But yeah, I don't understand why he's going after these obviously low level studies. I do know why. He's trying to paint a story of how terrible conspiracy minded people are to animals.
That we sadly currently face. Also, bear in mind that global greening relates to agricultural land as well. But while fields of animal feed might be included within the concept of global greening, it's clearly outlandish to claim that fields of animal feed are good for this reason, especially when animal farming is the leading driver of deforestation and habitat loss. Ironically, the global greening argument relies on satellite imagery taken by NASA. So for conspiracy theorists, this is a pretty awkward one. Are NASA actually a legitimate organization that's in space taking imagery of our spherical planet, or is the Earth flat and NASA is simply protecting the Antarctic ice wall and fabricating satellite imagery? And if NASA are in on this huge global conspiracy,
you either believe them or you're a flat earthing globe hollow earth psychopath. Like, what's that? There's no space for in between there. No space in between for some healthy skepticism and criticism and research. That's what's weird. It's almost like when I called out Lark and Rose once. It was one of the last times we had a big fight. God damn it. It was shit, I just lost it. It's some fallacy that he just fucking used. Oh, it'll have to come back to me. Yeah, that didn't work. Meow, Steve screaming.
And the satellite imagery they provide is fabricated. Why would they create fabricated satellite imagery showing global greening, which could be weaponized and used by conspiracy theorists? Wouldn't they do the exact opposite? Now, here's my 2 cents, and call me tinfoil hat crazy, but perhaps NASA is legit. The Earth is spherical, there has been some global greening, and we are in a climate crisis. Often the logical conclusion is the correct one. But then again, as a Freemason who calls Bill Gates daddy, I would say that, wouldn't I? That's a joke. Or is it?
Okay, that's what I was going to say. So these guys go on these smear campaigns. So Larkin Rose was just like, oh, anyone who looks into flat earth is a fucking retard, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I just fucking did it. God damn it. I forgot again. Well, someone said was earlier anyway. So before I forget, which I just did. God damn it. So,
trying to keep the monetization? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, no. God damn it, what did I just start saying before I got distracted?
We got some trigger words, get us in trouble.
What was I saying before I got distracted?
Trigger words.
Calling out Larkin for what?
Talking about like quitting, like having questions, like healthy skepticism.
Oh, yeah. No, it's like, why would you tell people not to look into something if you're not trying to hide something or you're wrong about something that they're going to look into? Why would you ever stop someone from researching or want to dissuade anyone from research? Like, I don't get that. Why not tell everyone to research everything and come to a conclusion? Like, why? I don't understand this. Stop it. Like,
the only mistake you can make on the path to truth is not starting and not going all the way.
Yeah, exactly. And like, we all got here by going down gnarly rabbit holes. So like, when some truther is telling people not to research, I think that may have been when he blocked me last 7 years ago or something. Because I was just like, why would you ever tell people not to research unless you're hiding something? Which that guy has hiding something written on his forehead. Like, there's something off. So anyone who's like, oh, why would you ever look into that? It's like, what? Like, that's like an obvious ego thing. It's some obvious internal ego thing. I don't know about that enough to know, so I'm going to dissuade other people from doing it. And the dude does it all the time. He's always like, oh, these people like trying to like point people in the wrong, or not point people in the wrong, but just stop people from researching. It's mind-boggling. And that's what he's doing here. Like, let people research whatever they want. If like, let them research all the conspiracy theories and see which ones are ridiculous and which ones sound legit. Isn't that what we're supposed to be doing?
Yeah, if they're not true, you should be able to discover that they're not true and debunk it. They should be
And
able
it
to
should
stand
be
on its own 2 feet.
it should be very clear to the world whether these things are true or not. That's why they're conspiracies, is because it's not very clear. We aren't completely out on global warming 100%. Like, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, don't
Like,
do your own research, people. Though, like, that whole mindset is what's gotten us into a lot of trouble historically. I mean,
and
the witch hunting.
here's a good. We stopped on a good one. This fear of these globalists is like, it's really funny. I was just laughing at Garland Farms because they're all so scared of Klaus Schwab over there, and this guy. It's like, you're scared of these guys.
Darth
Like, you're a
Sidious.
grown man and you admit to being scared of these 2 old guys, so scared that you talk about it daily on your podcast and basically, like, use it as fodder against your lazy, psychotic blood cult diet that you push on everyone. Like, it's wild that these guys are so scared about these guys. And like Garland, like, I went on his show and it was like, dude, you realize he owns like millions of head of cow, right? And he had no idea. And it's like, see, you're scared of this guy. You think that's pushing veganism. He's never pushed veganism ever. He pushes global warming, but he doesn't push veganism. And he's partially invested in a fake meat company. But then he also owns millions of heads of cattle. They never like, literally, I post about that. Like, because I go against this stuff so much in my feed on Facebook, it's nonstop carnage stuff. So I'll go in there and be like, you guys realize this dude owns a shitload of cattle, right? And they're just like, prove it, you vegan retard. Blah, 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 blah. There it goes again. Just prove it. It's like, prove it. Do you need me to wipe your butt? Isn't this something you might want to know about this guy that you claim you're so scared of and that's taking over the world, is going to make us all eat bugs, which isn't vegan?
Yeah.
Like, stop being scared of these tards and just live your life. Holy crap.
We want our freedom for the world.
Conspiracy theories such as climate change denial allow companies who act shadily and secretly to have less
That's
accountability
such a
placed on
scary
them.
message. We want freedom for the world.
Instead, they help the very people conspiracy theories usually are about casting suspicion on. The same is true of anti-vegan
why did he
conspiracies,
even put
which serve
that
the
in
interests
there?
of the meat, dairy, and egg industries.
I know, it's not a very flattering clip. It's like, so what are you proposing then?
Yeah, are you against having everyone in the world have
That guy's
freedom?
not saying anything bad. I mean, he might sound a little kooky and maybe he's off base on what he's there for, but
He's a Trumper, so baby out with the bathwater.
yeah.
I mean, if somebody's
partially agree
ignorant,
with.
help them brush up a little bit. Help them, like, refine their arguments.
Yeah, these are bad arguments, and it's not a good look.
Also have a long history of corruption and harm, which brings us on nicely to the more specific links between veganism and conspiracies. Now, this video is not just about anti-vegan conspiracies, but also about how conspiracy theories perpetuated by vegans are actually harmful to veganism as a whole. In a previous video, I discussed how spirituality can be an enemy to veganism, citing how pseudoscientific and spiritual views can lead to ex-veganism. But we can actually see more and more examples of this within so-called conspirituals, a term used to describe New Age and pseudoscientific wellness beliefs becoming intertwined with conspiracy theories. You see, the thing is, before veganism was mainstream, many conspiracy theorists were brought over to veganism precisely because it was fringe. It was a way of taking a stand against the system and casting suspicion on what we are told. It was a way of defining yourself as being different from the crowd, or sheeple. In the same way that diet and wellness are tied in with conspiracy theories now, the same has been true for a long time. And that connection actually brought people over to veganism. This is why veganism has often been tied in with diets like raw veganism, fruitarianism, and the alkaline diet, all of which are substantiated with claims that are pseudoscientific and tied into things like naturalistic fallacies, conspiracy theories, and New Age spirituality. Take this post, for example, from a person who also promotes the alkaline diet as well. And the post is titled, as you can see, The Global Warming Lie. Right at the bottom, it says that the planet is heating up naturally through a planetary ascension process, not global warming. The person wants "do not buy the BS," which is actually pretty ironic. There's also David Wolfe, one of the more prominent and well-known raw foodists, who's also a flat earther, among other things, and John Rose, another raw foodist, who is also a Holocaust denier, among other things. Or you get people
among other things. So again, other things. Oh no, god damn it, this stupid mouse. I
You gotta
keep
find
trying
the
to
remote.
click. Yeah.
A walk in the park. People try and feed him bread. Although, side note, please don't try and feed ducks bread. Now, this is not me saying that everyone who subscribes to these
Yeah,
diets
don't
also
feed
believes in these
ducks.
other things. Someone can
Because
eat a
they're
raw
thing
plant-based diet and not believe in everything else I've just referenced. However, for a long time, variations on plant-based diets, such as raw veganism, were the alternative diets of conspirituals. These are people who came to eating plants because of their conspiratorial thinking, and their
Yeah.
influence brought other people of a similar mindset to eating plants too. However, this has begun to change, and for two main reasons. Firstly,
Like
if you're eating a woo-woo
questioning
variation
the
of a plant-based
diet that
diet that
mommy
is
and
not
daddy
grounded in
picked
science
out
but
for you.
grounded in new age dogmatism and conspiracy, and you eat an unhealthy diet as a consequence, well, don't be surprised when you end up not feeling so good. I mean, it's hardly rocket science. Although, then again, rocket science only really works if you believe in gravity.
Well, gravity's still technically a theory.
You also get vegans who think everything can be cured from eating organic plants, who view nature as some divine, unquestionable entity. And as a consequence, supplements in Western medicine are an affront to the divinity of nature. The problem here is also that by approaching plant-based diets from a pseudo-scientific perspective, you also risk going back to eating animal products because of the same reason. I mean, why are so many of the highest profile ex-vegans those who used to extol the virtues of raw veganism and things like long water fasts? Why is it that some of the earliest carnivores are also
Because those aren't sustainable diets. Sorry, John Bob.
crazy conspiracy theorists who used to be raw plant eaters and then transitioned to eating raw meat and organs? And this is how conspiracy theories that we may turn a blind eye to initially because, hey, at least these people are eating plant.
He's using conspiracy theory as like this, like, I don't know, he's using it as if it's like he's using it more than he should be.
That's right.
Like it's synonymous with critical thinking skills.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like, he's just throwing it around in here, and it's like, no, critical thinking is good, dude. Like conspiracy theory that's speculating on something that might be happening versus not speculating on something that might be happening. Like, why would you tell people not to do that? Even if it's wild, but again, he's from the position, he is taking a status position. He is defending his political party, which is the state, against people that are seeing the state for its lies. He is being a part of the state. The state supports carnism to the max, pays for all the food to be eaten, pays for the meat to be grown, and pays for like 80% of what you would be paying. You would be paying way more for meat if the state wasn't subsidizing the food of the cows and the dairy and all the stuff. The lady over on the Garland show tried to tell me the government doesn't subsidize the meat and dairy industry, and she was a farmer. Like, and I mean, I don't know if you
Maybe
guys
they
follow
don't
that, but, like,
subsidize her.
yeah.
They subsidize Tyson.
Yeah, she's up there saying she has to regeneratively grow the mine that she lives on, and it's like, no, you don't have to do that there. You definitely can just leave it alone and let it go back to normal. Charcoal is a natural thing found in the ground, and yeah, there's some chemicals and stuff that are involved in mining, but you're not going to be putting cows on that stuff,
Is that the lady saying that cows have to poop on the ground in order for grass to grow?
Yes. She's a nurse who was vegetarian for 15 years but couldn't prove it to me. That almost died because of being vegan, and now that she eats meat and dairy, it saved her life. And she's a nurse. Oh, did you miss the Garland situation I went earlier?
I must have.
Yeah, he's live still. But yeah, he was live and being old Garland. He's got some clowns up there lying to everyone. We got two studies out of them though. So we'll be able to hyperanalyze those studies and see what exactly they say. So that's always fun because once they give us evidence, they're committed on a statement. And if that statement ends up wrong, that's concrete evidence of them misinforming people. And Garland's just fallen into every trap I've laid for him along the way. It's been really funny. You know, most of the movements being like, shut up, dude, like stop having debates with those vegans, you know, like same with Joey Schwartz. He got completely he got banished from the carnivore movement, lost half of his fans, you know, because he lost 3 debates in a row with 3 vegan YouTubers. It's pretty funny.
3 strikes you're out.
Yeah, 3 strikes, you know, you're gonna have your people are gonna start turning on you.
Yeah.
Did you hear Bart K officially made the carnivore diet actually be 75% meat? Big Bart K, who knows everything, who's the biggest influencer of the carnivore diet, has officially says now the carnivore diet is actually just 75% meat.
Actually 70,
Because,
I think.
Paul
So
Saladino
it's just the paleo diet again.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
it's just the Atkins diet again, basically.
I know, it's like they just keep rebranding the same like low carb diets, the Atkins, the South Beach, the paleo.
It's just a couple generations have gone by and we've forgotten that doesn't work. Dude, did you hear those guys all start freaking out when I was like, dude, 200 years of science says more meat, more diseases. Like, what are you talking about? We have 200 years of science saying that. And they'll always go, oh no, you're lying. You're making things up. Like, what are you? Where's your evidence? Where's your evidence that says more meat makes you more healthy? It doesn't exist. And then so they gave me these 2 studies. And next week we're gonna look over these studies. And once I got the studies and told them I was coming back next week, none of them wanted to have anything to do with it. It's like, yeah, okay. And that happens every time I go on the Garland show. It's like they're all sitting there in this echo chamber lying to each other, and they rarely come across any vegans that have any kind of thing to say. And so when someone has the balls to go up there and tell them, you know, explain reality to them, they just can't handle it. They think that they can pull a study, say, oh, the scientists were wrong, but I'm right, and I'm just some dude, you know, like what planet are these people on? And then they're like trying to, you know, of course they couldn't answer a single question. I don't know, whatever. It's typical goofy behavior. But
well, and they fail to realize that, like, you know, that that old saying of like those who fail to learn history are doomed to repeat it. And we literally did this exact same thing 30, 40 years ago dealing with Atkins, and the same problems are starting to recur again.
Yeah, what happened to Atkins? He slipped and died from slipping and bumping his head. Right?
Yeah.
That's
But
what they
wasn't the
all
devil.
love. Dude, I've had so many people get red in the face. He bumped and hit his head. That's how he died.
Or they
Died
say
after
he was
having like 3 like bypass surgery and 3 heart attacks.
but he
He fell
wasn't
on
doing
the
the
ground
diet.
and his body couldn't handle falling on the
You
ground
used
and he died. That means the
Mhm.
Atkins diet probably isn't that great if it makes you fall on the ground and die.
Well, no, but he wasn't doing the diet.
to
That's
keep
what they like to
from
pretend.
really.
What's that?
They'll pretend that he wasn't doing the diet the right way, just like the keto and carnivore people always do.
No, but it's been great watching all these videos and seeing the patterns that are coming out. These guys are missing out on sleep because they're waking up in the middle of the night because their body's telling them they're hungry. They're losing testosterone. Like, these are not things these people want to come out. And this is the same for all these people. It's like this guy yesterday was like, oh, wait till I get my blood work back. I'll show you. And I'm like, bro, what makes you think your blood work is going to be different than any of these other guys? Like, they're all garbage. Like, everyone's like, it's all bad. Like, I could tell you exactly what it's going to be. Like, they're all like, the baker guy, like he let his Paul Saladino's let his out, and it was all, oh, we're just ignoring this bad stuff. And it's like, okay, so your blood work isn't as good as vegans, so you're ignoring major, red flags, saying it's okay. You guys aren't you guys aren't cardiac doctors. You're like orthopedic or like chiropractors. These guys aren't really real doctors. And they're changing their story. They've all changed their story. They're all conceding that we were right the whole time. At least us people saying, at least you have to eat fruits and vegetables, guys. And that's all we were saying the whole time. That's why I had debate with these guys. Like, hey, no, it's not good for you to not eat fruits and vegetables, Joey. You're going to get scurvy. What happened? He got scurvy. Like, these guys can't do this. And so now they're conceding. And that's what we need to look at this as, a great victory for animals and science. That these guys are getting called out by their own people. So far, like, there aren't many. Like, Baker conceded, said it was all a joke. Saladino's eating rice and fruit and honey and all kinds of stuff. Like, those are the two guys that started this whole thing. Like, what? And you guys are just going to continue pushing their stuff, even though they don't do it anymore. Like, that's wild. That's super wild. Like, I watched this thing with Paul Saladino, and he was up on some show, and he's like, oh, everyone's mad at you. And it's like, why? He's showing what's working. He's showing the truth, not just, oh, I want to really continue my psychopathic diet, and it's easiest to just claim that I'm a carnivore and have a bunch of people backing me up instead of dealing with the truth, which is not something these people want to deal with, because it's going to have, in order for them to do something about it, they're going to have to change something and put some effort into it, and that's not what they're willing to do. That's what we deal with. Most of these guys we're talking to, that's what we're dealing with. They do believe that it's that it's likely healthier and that it's likely morally better on their conscience and stuff like that. It would be, you'd have to be dealing with a real psycho. Like, I know we deal with guys and they say stuff, but like, if you really get them down to it, you'd have to be dealing with a grade A psycho, that thinks that really thinks down deep that this whole way of eating all this meat is better.
Like the level of commitment.
Yeah. So I guess this guy's done.
Being, having
like one favorite over the other. This is like an arbitrary position. And also this thing about how he compared that to babies caught in a traffic.
Guy's voice.
It's sort of,
what are they talking about? Yeah, I don't know.
Babies caught in traffic.
Yes. Oh, look. Hi, Azure. Chicken check race. Yeah, so we'll it'll be fun to look at these studies, and we'll see what exactly is going on here. I mean, it may just be, this is a study that's in the favor of less meat. But then he was just like, oh, these scientists flubbed it up. And then Garland thought he had something there on he had some he had a link about bias in meta studies. But like, I wasn't about to talk to him about it.
Be good to be able to dissect it on the side and then maybe even make a video about it, or just like do it live when everybody's more prepared, because they obviously don't know how debate works.
No, they're just trying to trying to get me with a gotcha moment, and that's like all they have is like, oh, I'm gonna ask you a question that's preloaded that I've already thought about that has a gotcha attached to it. Like that dude was all, why don't you tell me, why you went vegan? And it's like, why? I'm not gonna talk. You're not a cop. Like, I don't talk to cops and I don't answer metards. Freaking, there it is again. I don't answer questions just because I'm here. I'm not just going to answer your question, especially when I already know you're going to try and get some gotcha moment with me. Because obviously, when you have Joey Carbstrong and Vegan Gains and all these guys in the chat, and you're like not letting them in, you're obviously scared of something. But yeah.
3 different people that could tear him to shreds if they were allowed to actually be on the platform. Like, I think Garland's kind of scared that he'd start to get people turning on him if they started to see the actual truth come out.
Well, yeah, I mean, when Garland and Richard debated on my debate, Garland got caught pretty bad. Like the one thing he brought up, he was completely wrong about, and was a non-issue. He said some nutrient deficiency in vegetarians because some nutrient that's only in meat, but that nutrient wasn't essential, and there's no such thing. There's never been a case of a deficiency in science of that. Like, there's never been a case of someone having that deficiency. So it's like, if your only arguments are stuff that aren't even true, like, what's going on here? How come you don't have any like concrete science backing you up?
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
these guys are the first guys to discount any science, but then they're here trying to give me science. But it's like some Photoshop something, and they think they're gonna like catch me in something. It's like, well, I'm gonna come back after looking at it, and they're all, oh no, don't do that, because they know they're lying. There's deception there. This stuff doesn't go in meat eaters' favor. It never has, and it never will. Like, it's crazy. Wild.
Yeah.
Oh. Where's Jeremy?
He said he had to go somewhere earlier. I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
We need to. I don't know. We usually have a more. Well,
I need another man to give me a lift.
You should be
I don't
out
know.
here, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna be out there with my rack and throw some firewood and all kinds of other shit up there.
There's a lot of wood out here.
Oh, yeah.
You can put.
I don't know how I'm gonna get this thing up by myself.
Braxton can hang out in the rack.
Can suntan on the rack, dude.
Yeah. I'm still a little white. I got that mismatched tan going on right now. Not even like farmer's tan.
Dude, I swear I saw a commercial where there's like some kind of bathing suit that doesn't leave tan lines.
That
It's
seems
like it's like a 0 FPS for like women, it's like so that you don't have a little spaghetti strap or whatever.
That seems like that would you get some painful sunburns.
Yeah, seriously.
Burn your nipples. Is that possible? Can you sunburn your nipples?
I think so.
I guess it's possible. Does it suck? Yeah.
I think I've had a little bit of that in the past.
UV clear clothes. Oh boy. What were we supposed to talk about today? I think that's 2 hours. I think we might wrap it up. I wasn't expecting to freaking have to energy dump for Garland Farms.
I thought the show was about to take a drastic turn.
What?
I thought the show was about to take a drastic turn when Garland was live.
Yeah.
On the
He
fly
knows it's
debate.
not a good idea to have me up. It's funny that he did that, but he was hiding behind a bunch of people the whole time. That guy's such a pussy, man. And they just all wanted to keep changing the subject. And it's like, no. I explained to them, well, what's the premise of what we're going to debate? He's all, oh, meat diet versus vegetable diet. Like, whoa, bro, like that's not a premise to a debate. That's a debate that would take 6 years. You know, like, come on, bro. Like, premise to something very specific. Let's do it right now. And they just couldn't do it. But we'll see. We'll read these debates. Oh boy. All right. I'm gonna get out of here. Next week. Yeah, I'm gonna try and get Chris Hines on next week.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Nice.
Yeah. But I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Peace out.
See ya.